Hi friends, host Derek here, host of Talking with Famous People, and today I want to talk about trust. And I want to talk about a couple of different trust issues that I'm experiencing in my own relationship and what it means to have trust issues in a relationship and how one can resolve them. So, Kim and I came into this relationship with each other with a lot of trust issues, and the reason is because we're old. We met each other at 46, which means that we'd had a life full of failed relationships prior to meeting each other. A life full of a lot of relationships, or comparatively a lot, to say somebody who's 20 maybe. Relationship time total. And all of it failed. Obviously it was failed because neither of us were widowed or widowered, and neither of us were dead, and neither of us were together with anybody or cheating on anybody, so the relationship we had prior obviously had failed. And in the process of having a failed relationship, you learn a lot of bad habits, you learn a lot of bad things about relationships, you indulge yourself in negative ways. So there becomes a certain glee that couples can start to take in fighting with each other, where they feel satisfaction of getting back at each other, feeling justification for vengeance and stuff like that. Or just generally nailing them, like, meow, 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 you're a little shit, meow. Just hating each other. It usually happens at the end of every relationship that doesn't work out, right? When it's ending, then obviously that's every relationship that's not successful. So, people don't leave each other normally on good terms. They may leave each other on cordial terms, but they're not in love with each other, or they wouldn't be leaving. So, obviously, trust is going to be damaged in everybody prior to getting in that first genuinely right relationship. And if your first genuinely right relationship is like mine at age 46, and it's your first chance to do things properly, then you're going to enter that relationship with a lot of bad habits, experience that's a poor guide for how to behave, and little experience with to rely on as a guide for how to behave. Now, I'd like to think I was always pretty good in relationships. I was always fair and decent and kind and nice in general, because I was raised by parents who treated each other well and who treated me fairly. I grew up with good models, I would guess. Regardless, it doesn't mean I picked up some unhealthy shit. I didn't pick up any unhealthy shit. I did. In particular, what I picked up from my first wife was don't trust women not to cheat, because she cheated on me. And it was absolutely stunning. I had no idea until I found out what was going on. No suspicion, nothing. I was oblivious and completely trusting. Not because she deserved my trust, not because she had earned it, not because reading her correctly would have suggested I ought to trust her, but because I didn't know any better. Like I said, I'd had models from my parents, and they, as far as I knew, people only cheated on each other in the movies. Am I supposed to turn right here? Oh, it's coming in a little hot there, Eric. Okay. So that was kind of devastating. Even though I didn't even really like the woman, I didn't like that. I always felt that what I wanted most from a woman was loyalty and being on my team. And there's no worse betrayal of a relationship team than it can be accomplished via infidelity. So, I was upset at the injustice of the whole thing more than I was wounded because I loved her. I was upset at Well, I mean, I felt very violated. Like, that's supposed to be my woman. But regardless, I got in a second marriage. I was very suspicious of her at first, but in the end, I ended up going 14 years with her. As far as I know, she never cheated on me. I never cheated on her. And so our divorce was fairly cordial, and we did kind of still love each other when we left each other, but it wasn't meant to be. She made the right decision to leave, although it wasn't what anybody would call a very just or fair decision to me, really. But I was wrong for wanting her to stay, so it ended up being fine. But I wouldn't say she had any good cause to leave. I was just calling bullshit on her bullshit. She didn't like it. That's basically the gist of it. So, anyway. But, nevertheless, she left me against my will, more or less. I mean, it's like I'm obviously not going to try to force her to stay, but I was opposed to the divorce. I wasn't the one pushing for it. She was. So that was another trust issue for me. First wife cheated, second wife left me. I didn't want to get cheated on or left again. So when Kimber and I got together, I was pretty suspicious, pretty prone to searching her shit, making sure she wasn't cheating on me and stuff like that, and asking her, a lot, saying, I don't want you to leave me here, so you need to be really genuinely committed here. And we've got plenty of cause to be committed. I've done the calculus on whether or not this is a good deal for you and for me, and it is, and so therefore we should be committed to each other forever. Typical stupid Eric stuff, but I think one of the best things I did early on in the relationship was tell her, well, I set the table for a lot of things. I didn't understand, as one never really does when one sets the table for something like that. You don't know at the time how it's going to play out or how important it'll turn out to be. But one of the things I told her right off the bat was, you can be as needy as you feel like being, but we might run into problems if you're too controlling. If you express as much neediness as you want, and I will always reassure you, and I'll try to be there for you when you're expressing need or wanting or whatever. And I think she felt very reassured that I was serious. I wasn't going anywhere. I was there to be her significant other forever, yada, yada, yada. And that helped her to relax. Helped her to feel comfortable to a point. Now, my sexual jealousy became an irritant after a while, as understandably it would. She's not giving me any reason to be suspicious. She's not doing anything. Yet here I am questioning her and checking her shit and blah, 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 blah. It's just not cool. It makes a person feel as though they're not trustworthy. Or you don't think they're trustworthy. Really, for me, it was sort of like, I don't want to get caught unawares. And so I'll have this insurance policy of being suspicious without any cause, so that there's no chance of me not erring on the side of too little suspicion, which is a strange sort of calculus, but whatever. Anyway, she started to get bugged by it and won the argument that it wasn't really defensible on my end. So, I had to concede the point and stop doing it. And I did. And the way to stop doing something like that, if you're experiencing sexual jealousy, and it's someone that doesn't give you any cause. Now, if you're experiencing sexual jealousy because someone's cheated on you, you should be experiencing post-relationship sadness instead, because there's no reason to stay with anybody who's cheated on you, ever, period. There's zero reason to stay. You should never stay with anybody who's cheated on you. This applies to everybody all the time, with no exceptions. So, but assuming they haven't cheated on you, and you have no good cause for sexual jealousy, and or you're feeling jealous about shit that happened before you got in a relationship with them, then you're just being nutty, and there's no cause for it. There's no. It's all you. It's all your fault. You gotta stop that. So, the only way to stop it is you just gotta knock it off. That's it. Don't go there. Period. And you'll be surprised how easy it actually is once you make the decision. Because the nice thing about it is, even if you fuck up a little bit and go there mentally, you don't have to say it out loud. You can get away with it. Get away with it going there mentally, so that as long as you don't say it out loud. Anywho, about to get on the freeway. I might make it almost on time. Freaking Eric. Looking for traffic. So once I did away with that, it doesn't mean we were done with trust issues. Kimberly's trust issues stem from being in relationships before where the guys in her life couldn't be trusted to take care of shit, follow through on things they said they were going to, or pull their own weight, or whatever. It's not the experience she's had with me. But in some sense, I think she's still waiting for the other shoe to drop. She doesn't trust me, is what it boils down to. So if something happens that she doesn't like what happened before work, which was the gas gauge busted, but it's not big. I knew there was something wrong with it, okay? But I didn't. It's been working fine of late, and so it didn't occur to me that it might be malfunctioning. It was at a quarter tank. I got on the freeway and then I ran out of gas. And so I got back home. She was all mad at me about it. Like, look, I didn't even involve her to get back home. It turns out that these little trucks that drive on the freeway that are dispatched by the state, and they go around, and if you're pulled over, like broken down on the side of the road, then they pull up behind you and they go, see if they can get you going again to get off the road. And he gave me a free gallon of gas. I said, oh, that's nice. That's cool. Good job, state of California. That's worth spending money on, I guess. So I was able to get home, no problem with that. I just got up the freeway, got filled up with gas, and then drove back home. Because at that point I was going to be late. I had to miss first class. Well, Emily took it as an opportunity to get mad at me about my unreliability or irresponsibility or lack of follow through or something like that. Of course, that's not the story here at all. I mean, could I have anticipated better about the gas? Maybe, but come on. She certainly wouldn't have. The point being, it didn't harm her at all. Why is she getting mad at me? We're not in the business of getting mad at each other. Neither of us is the parent who's there to police the behavior of the other. I don't want to be walking on eggshells around her, and I'm sure she doesn't want to be walking on eggshells around me. And the reality is, when she comes outside and I'm making music, she treats it as though I'm playing around and need to get in trouble. And I'm just not having it, obviously. But it's not because she's a bitch. She has trust issues. She just doesn't understand that these things may look similar to behaviors and other people that she's seen before. It's not the same thing when I do it. I've done what I need to do for my job stuff. she's not seeing it move forward at the moment because I'm still finishing this semester, and she doesn't understand the way things work, and she can't process the idea that things might take a little bit of time. She gets mad about me taking the car. She sees that as reminiscent of some previous guys who mooched off her or whatever. But I'm not mooching off her. That's not the case. So, you know, we're putting in about equal money into the thing. And she's got no cause, right? She's got no cause to be so distrustful of me. Most importantly, she needs to trust me when I'm talking to her about shit and say, look, no, you're wrong, this is what it is, this is how it is, this is why it is this way. And if I'm wrong, fine, but you're going to need to explain blah, 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 and you can't because I'm right. And she needs to trust me. I'm not doing it to beat her. I'm not doing it to win. Everybody thinks I'm always trying to win. That's fucking not true. I'm after the truth. I'm after the truth. I'm after justice. I'm after the right, good, kind way to be, not the stupid way to be. So, you know, she needs to trust my judgment. I know what I'm talking about. I'm not just trying to pin shit on her for the sake of pinning shit on her. If I'm saying, no, Kim, you need to look in the mirror here. This is you, this is doing blah, 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 blah. Then she needs to go, oh, shit, I guess I am. Because why? Because I'm not interested in doing anything to be unfair to her. I am desperate in general in life to be fair. I can't stand when I can't engage in hypocrisy without driving me crazy. I have to be cool. I have to practice what I preach, or else I leave myself too open to attack. So she can trust me, and she should trust me, and she just needs to relax. You know, there's nothing to be mad at me about. I didn't do anything. One thing I've been hammering with Kim as well, which is an interesting point of view I've determined by the reaction of Sarah and Kim, I'm talking about Sarah too, is compare me against the alternative, not against an ideal. In other words, compare me against the guys you've been with before, some guy somebody else is with, and ask yourself if that complete package is significantly better than the one you have. If it is, you know, if you think being single is better than being with me, then you need to be single, obviously. And if you think being with Joe is better than being with me, well, you need to be with Joe. But if you think being with me is better than the alternatives, then you need to just be with me and be happy about it. You got the best out of the possible alternatives. Everybody has a set of possible alternatives. Everybody gets a human being. They don't get this. They don't get to pick and choose attributes from 5 different people and string them together and say, there's my man. They get a complete package. And the 80-20 rule applies. You're going to get 80% of what you want in a relationship and 20% of shit you don't want. So you have to be okay with that. And if you're going to focus on only 20% of shit you don't like, then you're going to find nothing but negatives to bitch about. And that's exactly what Kimberly's doing. But the reason isn't just because she wants to be difficult, like I'm saying. It's because these things have been habituated into her understanding in previous bad relationships. I think it's unlikely that many people would be able to handle her. I can handle her, but I don't think anybody else can. I tell her I'm not going anywhere. She can be as much of a bitch as she wants. I'm not leaving. But I will hammer. I will hammer if she engages in bad behavior, like shitting on me all the time, or constantly looking for the negative, shit like that. You know, I'll have to hammer on it eventually, as I have. And it's as simple as, no, I'm not going to let this bullshit fly. That's it. You know, you're not going to get away with it. You're not going to poison a relationship with a lack of trust if I'm aware of it, which I am. And I'm not going to blame her for it either. It's like, I get it. I understand why it's happening. I may get irritated at it, but mostly I find it unjust, and therefore I have to put a stop to it. So, I'm not going to tolerate somebody treating me unjustly, obviously. But I'm not worried about it damaging the relationship or killing the relationship or anything like that. Because I genuinely believe in her good intentions, goodwill. She wants the relationship to work, and she loves and values me. And as a consequence, being a good relationship partner means being there through thick and thin, and including, you know, Kimberly's pissy moods and whatever else. I'm there. It doesn't matter. But I'm not gonna be shit on, you know. So that concludes this video about trust. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to eat plenty of cheese.